There is a trap that kills more small businesses than lack of capital. It is not the competition, it is not the market, it is not the product, it is the price. Specifically, it is the belief that to win clients, you have to be the cheapest. That belief is a war that the small business always loses. Because in a price war, the company with the deepest pockets wins. And when you are starting out, that is never you. At Apex Founder, we build businesses that do not compete on price. They compete on value, and they charge what they are worth. Warren Buffett wrote something in his 2008 Berkshire Hathaway shareholder letter that has been a fundamental truth in business for decades. He credited it to his mentor, Benjamin Graham. He wrote, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get," 4 words on each side. But the difference between understanding them and not understanding them can determine whether your business survives. Most founders set their price by looking at the competition. They ask what the other person charges and put a similar or lower number. That is setting a price. It is not setting a value. And when you set a price without setting a value, you are telling the market that the only thing that differentiates you is how much you charge. That is the fastest way to run out of clients. Here is a very common dynamic in enterprise technology. It applies to companies like SAP, IBM, Amazon Web Services, and Salesforce, and to most major enterprise software platforms. When a company needs to implement software from one of these platforms, they have 2 options. They can hire the software manufacturer directly, or they can hire what the industry calls a partner, a certified company that implements that same software, generally at a lower price. And here is the perception that operates in that industry, and operates exactly the same way in almost every market. When the buyer sees the cheapest partner, their first question is not what a great opportunity. Their first question is, why is it cheaper? Less experience, less quality. What am I missing? A low price does not build trust. It builds doubt. Now I want to say something that most people do not say out loud. There is a perception that operates in many markets, and small business owners feel it more than most. The assumption that if a small business is doing the work, it is going to cost less, and maybe the quality will match the price. That perception is not always fair, but it is real. And the answer to it is not to lower your price and confirm the assumption. The answer is to demonstrate with results that what you deliver is worth exactly what you charge, and often more. That is what changes a perception, not words, results. Now, this does not mean you should never adjust your prices. There are strategic moments when it makes sense. When you are entering a new market, an introductory campaign at a special price can be exactly the right tool. But there is one condition that is non-negotiable. From the first day that client uses your product or service, the reason they stay with you cannot be the price. It has to be the value you generate for them. Think about your favorite streaming service. You probably started with a free trial or an introductory price. And after a while, the price went up. And you kept paying, not because it was cheap, but because the value it gave you was greater than what it cost you. That is exactly what you need to build with your clients, a relationship where price stops being the conversation because value already won it. I call it the 3-part proposal that charges what you are worth. It is not a sales technique. It is the structure that turns a quote into a value conversation. The first part is describing the problem with precision, not the problem you think the client has. The problem the client themselves told you they have when you did the customer discovery work. This is where the 50 conversations from video 2 pay off. When you describe the client's problem better than they would describe it themselves, the conversation changes completely. You are no longer a vendor. You are someone who understands their business, and that has a value no cheap competitor can easily replicate. The second part is presenting how your company solves that problem. Not a list of features, not a service catalog. A direct connection between what the client needs and what you specifically can do. With examples when you have them, with data when you have it, and with honesty when something is outside your current scope. The clients who stay for years are the ones who trust you. And trust is built by telling the truth, not by overselling. The third part is articulating the benefits of working with you specifically, not against the competition, with you personally. What guarantees can you offer? What level of support can you provide that a larger company cannot? What does the relationship look like in 6 months, a year, 3 years? A small business with personalized attention can grow alongside its client in a way no corporation can. That is not a disadvantage of being small. That is your most powerful advantage if you know how to articulate it. And here is the truth that no sales book tells you directly. When a client buys only on price, they will leave the moment someone else is cheaper. When a client buys on value, they become a partner who grows with you. That is not a transaction, that is a business relationship. And business relationships built on value are the foundation of every company that reaches long-term sustainability. In my years in the corporate world, I had the opportunity to be on both sides of the desk, many times presenting solutions, many times buying them. And there is something you learn very quickly when you are on the buyer side. Price matters, but it is never the most important thing. The most important thing is always whether the solution solves the problem. In my early years as a salesperson, I participated in several RFP processes. And I made the mistake that most young salespeople make. I focused so much on being competitive on price that I stopped listening to what the client actually needed. I lost some of those RFPs, not because I was more expensive than the competition, but because I did not demonstrate clearly enough that I understood the client's problem better than anyone else in the room. That lesson was expensive, but I did not forget it. Later, when I was on the buyer side, I understood it with even more clarity. I never chose the cheapest vendor. I chose the vendor who demonstrated they understood my problem and who would be there when things got complicated. Because in any implementation, any project, any service, things get complicated. And in that moment, what matters most is not the price of the original contract. It is knowing there is someone on the other side who answers. I make these videos precisely so you do not have to learn that the hard way, so that the path that took years to learn takes you months instead. This week, not someday, this week. Step 1. Review your current price, not to change it yet. To ask yourself this honest question: does my price reflect the value I deliver, or does it reflect the fear that the client will say no? If the answer is fear, keep reading. Step 2. Write down the specific result your best clients get from working with you. Not what you do, what they achieve because of what you do. Quantify it if you can. In time saved, in revenue generated, in problems avoided, in growth achieved. That result is your real value, and that real value is what justifies your price. Step 3. Draft the 3 parts of your proposal. The client's problem described in their own words, how you specifically solve it, the benefits of working with you and not someone else. That proposal does not compete on price, it competes on value, and value always wins long term. The free 30-day business audit in the description below includes exercise 3, the honesty in pricing test, which helps you find the gap between what you charge and what you actually deliver. No cost, no fluff. Next week, I am breaking down the operator trap, why working harder is making your business weaker, and how to build something that runs without you. If you want that, subscribe. New video every Monday. If this gave you something real today, hit like. It helps more founders find this content. And if you have had a personal experience with this, a moment when you were undervalued because of your price or your size, or a moment when you proved with results that you were worth more, share it in the comments below. I want to read those stories. I want other founders to read them, because every experience shared here is a tool for the next founder who needs it. I read every single one, and I answer. I will see you next Monday. Build precise.